All right. Should we go from what time is it here? What time are we working with?
It's almost noon.
Okay. Should we go with checking out our friend Coach HP?
Always.
So the coach was at it again last week. If you guys missed it, it's up on YouTube now. So if you guys are audio listeners, go check out the YouTube because we found an interview that Coach HP did with a very important figure in Joe Rogan's life.
Yep, Scott Christ.
Scott Christ did some very, very important work for Joe Rogan. So go check that out. It's up on YouTube, or if you're a member, you got the whole episode last week. And we talked about Coach HP, this interview that he was doing. Now, I did also tease that he did an interview with someone in Dave Portnoy's life.
Yep.
So he put a short, he put a like YouTube short up that said, "I sit down with Dave Portnoy's, a trainer that met Dave Portnoy, or a jockey that met Dave Portnoy." And so only that short is discussing Dave Portnoy, but the way he framed it, I thought it was the whole episode. No, the episode was half in Spanish and half in English. So I was like, Coach, what are you doing? You're alienating both languages. Neither of us can watch the full episode. But that wasn't as chock full of moments. But what I did find, I think it's very appropriate because we do a podcast here.
Mm-hmm.
Been known to talk about other podcasts at times.
Yep.
Would you like to learn the rules of podcasting from one Coach HP?
I sure would. And I have info. Do you want to know how many views this podcast has before or after we watch it?
Well, when I checked it, it was 35. Has it gone up?
1.
That was me.
It would have been me too. I don't know.
So it's at 36 views now?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So guys, keep that number in mind as we watch this, because Coach HP went to I guess that's why he interviewed Wallow for $1 Million Worth of Game.
Mm-hmm.
It was at some sort of podcasting conference, which why Gilly and Wallow would go to that, I have no idea.
I don't think Gilly did. He was like, no.
Yeah, maybe that's true. I'm sure they were paid or something. I have no idea why they would participate in that.
Well, he makes it sound like he's colleagues with some of the people that are there. I don't know if it's clipped in this or not, but there's one part where he's just like, it was me and like Charlemagne. Like,
oh yeah. Him and Charlemagne the God are hanging out.
Yeah.
So he's at this conference for podcasting, which sounds horrible already, but thank God, guys. Did you miss the conference? Because I know I did.
I did.
I know. I've been kicking myself. I didn't make it. Thank God Coach HP had his pen and paper out. He was taking notes.
To be fair, though, I think we have to go to the next one to try to get in touch with this guy.
Well, the one thing I should also point out is that when he was talking to Scott, do you remember? He was like, Scott, just do a podcast. That's the most important thing in life is that you do podcasts.
Yep.
He pointed out that his how-to video on how to break in a baseball glove did very well. Now, what's interesting about those videos is, yes, they do very well. But the people that run those channels kind of have to sacrifice the fact that they can't be personalities,
Right.
You have to do how-to channels and not make it entirely about yourself. That's, I think, the disconnect that Coach HP has. So let's hear this video with 35 views.
How to have a successful podcast in 2024. That's move this here.
Okay. All right. Right out of the gate, I'm guessing, is this an example of how not to do it, Coach?
He left the part in where he's adjusting the lavalier mic, which makes so much noise.
This is 8 seconds into his how-to video. He's like, hold on.
That's the question. How to have a successful podcast in 2024. So I just got back from PodCon.
That sounds like a joke. It sounds like it sounds like something Kirk would riff when he's making fun of like those radio conventions.
Right.
I was just at PodCon.
Successful podcast.
Yes, please.
I wanted to share the takeaway, give you my feedback on what I saw worked, what I saw people were doing there that's not going to work, my situation with my podcast. I
like that he's judging. He's looking at other people at this convention like, no chance. Like, he says, I saw people there and I want to tell you what's not going to work. So he's just walking by people like, don't be this schmuck. He doesn't stand a chance.
Big Cat talked to me once.
Oh, and boy, does he. That's his intro. Is
I
Big
know.
Cat saying, hey, you're a positive guy.
And he sheepishly goes, it's the Coach HP podcast.
Yeah.
My dealings with the iHearts, with Podcast One, with all these different platforms that come at you when you have a successful show.
They come at you, Coach?
They come at you when you have a successful show, dude.
Do they come at you, or do you constantly knock on their door like Brian Callen trying to get into the mothership?
Sweet.
Are you constantly talking to them saying, hey, Podcast One, iHeartRadio, could I please have some money?
JFK's head chunk says Sweet Holiday in Express Studio, which is exactly where it is.
I think that is where it is. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't leave this in, but he gives a shout out at the top of this to the Holiday Inn.
Does he?
He goes, or whatever the hotel is. But he goes, hey, you guys got to check out the hotel so-and-so in Pennsylvania. It's a really great hotel. Check it out sometime. They let me use their, whatever they call it, like their office space. Their work center.
Andrea, the potential moderator, with a big comeback comment, says, come back tonight for the premiere of Gearbox, a show about the Blind Mike Project.
They get it. Can I ask you this? Has moderator Andrea said anything about this show?
That show is about this one.
Oh, okay, good. I'm glad she's keeping the chat focused. I think you might be onto something, Craig. I suspect she got some very specific marching orders.
Yes, I mean, do you guys like Hack Ride?
Jesus Christ.
Well, turn this off and just recap it later with him.
Yeah. Hey, don't even think about this show. Why are you wasting your hours of show watching now? There's a show about this show later tonight at 9 p.m.
By the way, this still shot of Coach HP looks like he's disgustingly looking at the chat.
Oh, my God. Why are you watching this program when you could be watching Hack Ride? Hack Ride is a very funny man, much better than this show. Wouldn't you rather hear a demon break down this podcast than actually have to sit through it?
Hack Ride says, yes, she has. Craigers is cherry picking, which is the first time he ever ate a fruit. But dump
I liked it. I liked it.
Val,
Hello, folks.
Val, $2. ABWO.
Andrea Brower World Order.
Sure.
I think that's what it is.
I have no idea.
Come at you when you have a successful show or when they see you really got momentum. So
Oh, God, I wish Podcast One would leave me alone. I wish I could go anywhere without iHeartRadio jumping out of the bushes at me. Can I just live a life? Can I eat with my family?
I wanted to share with you guys top things for a successful
Top
podcast.
things. It doesn't have a number. He just goes top things for a successful podcast. It's not top 5 or anything.
Hey, top
These are the
stuff.
top things.
Top stuff, guys.
Yeah. Oh, so that's what I meant to say is he found success. I guess his how to break in a baseball mid video got a ton of views. So he's like, I'm going to be the how-to guy, how to be positive, how to do a podcast. This one, you said, I'm sorry, what was the number again?
36.
Oh, 36. Okay, so it hasn't quite taken off the way the baseball mid video did.
So maybe if your view was 36, mine was probably 37. So it might be up to 37.
Oh, good. I hope so.
Yeah. Getting it up.
Hey, guys, you know what? Go watch that instead of us bullshit talking about it. Oh, Andrea Brower, put that in the chat if you could. Put a link to Coach HP's channel.
Rule number 1 from Coach HP here.
Oh, good. This is very important. Jot this down, please. I wish we had David Collins here. He likes taking notes.
I know. We should get him.
Oh, well, you know who was on with David Collins?
I'm surprised it hasn't been mentioned in the chat 100 times yet.
Yeah. We'll put it this way, guys. There's another show you should be watching other than this one. I don't think it's out yet, though.
David Collins' 30-minute half-hour show with Hack Ride and Electrify. Go
Yes.
tune in. Go tune in now. Like leave.
Yeah. Well, it's not up yet, but just go leave this show and prepare for that one.
Stare at his YouTube channel until it pops up.
Yeah. That's it's important for you to be mentally ready for that show with Hack Ride and Electra, because we all know this one's dog shit.
Yeah, it's just terrible.
Yeah. It's worth. I mean, maybe it's worth talking about it like 9 o'clock tonight, but to watch it now would be very silly.
He's so stupid.
Number one, guys, you got to start. People don't want to start. You want to worry about.
Hold on. Wait,
like,
I was so mystified. I've heard this, and on a second re-listen, I thought that can't be the first rule. He's going somewhere. Let him. No. Let's start that over. Let's hear. What's rule number 1 again? Because if you blink, you'll miss it.
Just do it. No, just do it, Nike.
Let me hear how he presents this.
Number one, guys, you got to start.
Oh, I thought. Here's where I'm an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know. Are we broadcasting right now?
No, I thought I listened to him and I was like,
see, I think you shouldn't even bother starting.
yeah.
That's where I'm an idiot. Is I thought if I just did this in my house and didn't plug this microphone in, I thought it would kind of be the same thing, right? Like that's more or less a podcast.
So I've been meaning to tell you this ever since you tweeted out that you were looking for a producer for this Blind Mic project like 3 years ago now.
Yeah.
We've just been sitting in StreamYard without going live.
No wonder. No wonder no one's fucking watching this thing. No wonder the after show is so much more popular.
You know how nervous we would be if we hit go live though?
Just start as if there's someone perusing YouTube. Like, God damn it. The podcast I don't do isn't successful yet. Let me type in how to do a podcast. And then they hear number 1 and they're like, fuck. I'm a moron. Egg on my face. I should have started the podcast.
Ozzy in the chat just says, number 1, be born. I'm surprised. I'm kind of surprised he didn't do that.
Number 1, start the podcast. Number 2, turn on your microphones. Number 3, turn on the computer.
Thank God for blessing you to be on the earth at this time.
Number 4, make sure you have internet service. That's very important. You're going to need to upload these things to the internet.
We're never going to get through this.
Just start is the craziest rule. In other words, you know what number 1 is? Here's what rule number 1 really is. Just talk until someone tells you you're interesting.
Yes.
Just say words because you need things to say. I have no substance here, but I'm just going to talk and hope people mistake it for something. Rule number 1 is start.
Number 1.
Hey, you know what, guys? Listen, I'm not going to tell like Travis Kelce how to do his job. He's an elite athlete. Same with Patrick Mahomes. You know, Andy Reid. The Chiefs just won the Super Bowl. If they're gonna want to win another one, go 3 in a row, they're gonna have to play all those games next year.
Cool.
I know. Listen. I know. Like Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith. Those guys are afraid to say that kind of stuff.
I didn't even think of that.
But I'm here to tell you, if they don't play their games next year, they don't stand a fucking chance.
That's
all right. These other guys will tell you about X's and O's and all that kind of stuff. But I'm here to say they need to play the games first and foremost. That's rule number 1.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
Number 1, guys, you got to start. People don't want to start. You want to worry about things like, is this a good time to start? I don't want to put up too much content. Is this the right camera? I don't
want to put up too much content. I'm worried that people are going to think I'm putting up too much content. So my solution is putting up 0.
That was a big concern for us at the beginning of this.
I think the
much going on.
The best number to put. Yeah, that's why no one was watching this channel for the first year. Is that I was so worried that I was like, Craig, don't even post these episodes.
We're just doing them for reps, dude.
Guys, start. Grab an iPhone that we all have and just start shooting and talking.
Make it as sloppy as you want. Just fucking go out and do it.
You know, everyone when they listen to podcasts is like, you know what? This audio could be shittier. I prefer it that way.
Yeah. No, there's never bitching about audio quality. That never happens on podcasts. What you should do is
Never.
haphazardly rush into it.
Yeah.
just put zero forethought into it. Just fucking go. Just let it rip. Don't have a format prepared. Just turn the camera on and fucking upload it to YouTube. Whatever horse shit falls out of your mouth.
But I will say, stream can't crash if it never starts.
That's right. I didn't even think of that when I swear to God, I didn't think of that when I said that. That's yeah. You know what? I'll tell Coleman that today. He's like, hey, have you thought about not even starting the episode? I learned from my buddy today.
Just start shooting and talking. That's the first thing I got. So start.
Thank
That's
you.
very
Coach.
important. How are you gonna follow that up? I mean, rule number 2, like that really is. I think that covers all the bases there. But I guess there are other rules to having a successsul podcast. Believe it or not.
Mike, you're not gonna believe this. We got like 6 more rules, dude.
Oh, goody.
You got to be yourself, which is super hard because it's very hard.
Hey guys, sorry to interrupt. Joe Rogan here.
Hi, I'm Hack Ride.
Hey guys, thanks for joining the Theo Vaughn podcast. I appreciate you being here. Make sure you go to blindmike.net to subscribe. I don't know who that is, but I'm successful podcaster Theo Vaughn.
I want people to watch this, so I'm Hack Ride. Please, Andrea, if you could please talk about me. I'm Hack Ride.
Be yourself. He's gone from the worst podcast advice to the worst therapy session of all time. Be yourself. Hey, people like you for you, man. This is good. So right now, I've got the computer and microphones on, and I'm Mike Geary.
Yep.
We're on the fast path to success here. I think we're cruising into millions of views.
You got to be.
Imagine if this video had more than 40 views, I'd be like, what the fuck? like if this thing gets like 100K at some point, people are like, you know what? I got to start.
Well, that's the thing is like, I'd make fun of it if it had 100,000 views, but then at least it accomplished the goal that Coach HP was trying to prove.
If you ever have to, I think everyone has at some point had to look up like a how-to video on YouTube or something. I'm clicking the one with like 1 million views, not 4.
No, I'm going with the one. Well, Craig, that's ridiculous because you're telling me, say, a woodworker like our friend Scott couldn't have 35 views. I might click on that and watch. The problem here is he's talking about how to have a lot of views on your videos.
It doesn't work all the time though.
It's like if I said how to be a sharpshooter, how to have just precise vision. Why would this guy be telling me that?
You got to be yourself, which is super hard because it's very hard to have. And I see this happens with a lot of comedians too. They're like, I don't want to see such and such comedian. I don't want to see Richard Pryor, because then I start imitating Richard Pryor and I do a version of him, which is true. We all have a sense of who we like in this business. It's almost impossible not to imitate.
I can't imagine who Coach HP's is. I'm just saying, if I had to guess, I couldn't think of anyone that he would be emulating.
Gary V.
Maybe. Yeah, that's true.
Podcast, because you see what they're doing, you see their vibe, you see their angles, but the more you are true to yourself and what you feel you want to share in this, the better I think it'll become. I
like how he's trying to be like authentic and be yourself and speak from the heart as he's reading cue cards. Look at him.
I'm sorry, what does this say? Be authentic. Authentic.
I can't read my handwriting.
Just try to go off the cuff.
Yeah.
Angles, but the more you are true to yourself and what you feel you want to share in this, the better I think it'll become. And
or
time to grow.
Or can I throw something out there that I think Coach HP might like? What if instead of being yourself, you just found comedians that you could trick into interviewing and tell them how great they are for an hour? Does that work too?
Clearly, I'm successful. Look at my watch.
This guy, every interview he's ever had is the person he's most looked forward to meeting.
David Lucas. There's no one I've ever wanted to talk to more in my life.
Except for Scott, the table maker.
Scott Rex.
It's amazing. It's amazing his booking process because he's gone in the exact order of how much he looks forward to talking to someone. You know what I mean? He's like, it's always, he's constantly topping himself in terms of anticipating the guest.
Right. Or he's going from first place down the list.
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah, it's amazing he's gone sequentially. It's very impressive. So far, we have this fraud telling you to be yourself and turn your fucking camera on.
So you got to be authentic.
That's very important. Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I'm looking forward to rule number 3.
Are we ready? Do you think we're ready for rule 3? 1 and 2 have rocked the podcasting industry.
Rule number 3: take diligent notes.
The first two rules have changed everything. Now I'm imagining with controversial takes like that, rule number 3 will be make sure it's available on all platforms. You are going to want to go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Google Play.
You're gonna have to really like baseball.
Oops. Number 3, you can't compare yourself to other podcasts. You don't want to imitate other podcasts.
Say yours only has 35 views. Just hypothetically. You can't. It's very this actually, it probably should have been number 1. If you want to be the most successful podcast, you can't look at things like views as a metric of success.
You can't imitate people. But next, I'm going to talk about the elk meat I just ate.
Sure. A Patreon video of Matt and Shane's secret podcast has more views combined than everything I've done. But that's not a way. You don't compare yourself to other people.
To them, everybody at this event was asking. These people was asking Wallo, when did you guys start and how long it took you guys
it's
to
weird
make
that they
it?
were asking Wallo when you were there.
Yeah,
that's weird.
We were having dinner together.
It's weird that they shoved Coach HP out of the way to ask one of the $1 million worth of game guys.
Special situation. You have 2 extraordinary talents that in literally 6 months, they were at the top of their category, one of the best podcasts in the world. That's not normal. What's normal is...
Don't be like that.
Don't be like that. Grind.
What you want to do is get an incredibly low amount of views, like an amount that if I sent it to everyone in my contacts list, it would be higher.
This is a hard worker. He worked hard for that.
You start, and it takes time. I started this. It's going to be now 4 years
He's ripping
ago.
off Dave Culline's advice.
4 years ago.
Things take time.
He worked so hard for 4 years for 36 views.
Yeah, that's tough. And listen, here's the thing. These are all true. I guess if you want to give him that, if we're going to give him something, he said nothing false.
Correct.
But it just feels to me like, if you want to be in the major leagues, you're going to have to start young playing baseball.
Your whole life.
And you're gonna want to do a tremendous amount of practice in order to get there. You're gonna want to play on like travel teams, work your way up, go to camps, take every opportunity you can. That's how you become, and you have to have talent, and that's how you become a successful Major League Baseball player.
You want to dedicate your life to it.
How do you become a successful lawyer? Well, you got to start by going to college and studying really hard, and then going to law school. and then maybe you become, you start at the bottom and work your way up of a law firm. Maybe you become partners someday.
JFK's head junk says, I started this at the Econo Lodge. Now I'm at Holiday Inn Express.
That's very funny. That took me a second. I started this. I like that JFK's head shrunk is so obsessed with where he is.
He can't.
I started this at the Econo Lodge.
That's very funny.
And if you can believe it, and one day I will be in a Marriott. Mark my words.
Of just every week, sometimes twice a week, sometimes 3 times a week, interviewing
Sometimes
people.
4 times a week.
Sometimes 5 times a week. That's just not true, by the way. Go look at his channel. He doesn't upload videos every day.
No, he does not.
Talking to people, doing a million things. So this takes time. It takes time to find your rhythm. It takes time to find out what you want to talk about. I still don't exactly fully know what this is. I love.
You know what this is? I think I referenced this bit a couple weeks ago.
Is he talking about his own podcast? Hold on. Is he talking about? He's like, I still don't know what I'm doing.
Oh, well, we got to go back and hear that. But I apologize for stepping on it. But it dawned on me what this is. You know the Jim Jeffries bit that he has about having a baby, and he says that when you have a baby, they give you a book called "Don't Shake the Baby." And he goes, I don't understand. There were multiple pages to this thing. He goes, who's looking at the title and thinking, there must be more to this? Like, it seems pretty self-explanatory. That's what this video is. It's the don't shake the baby version of how to do a podcast. He's just saying, like, fucking turn your camera on and try to be interesting.
Now, having said all that, I'm pretty sure he still says he doesn't know what he's doing.
Okay, yeah, so I apologize. To Craig's point, we got to hear this because he's going to tell us about his pod. He's going to draw from real life examples.
It's time to find out what you want to talk about. I still don't exactly fully know what this is. I love talking to people. That's awesome. But I also love telling you guys how I feel.
Now, it's interesting. I know that rule number 3 was try to be focused. I have none of that. I have not. In the 4 years I've been doing this show, my main idea is trying to get names on whose penises I can suckle on.
He's gonna go. If he keeps this up, he's gonna go by Jose Matarese in a couple weeks.
Folks, I have switched formats. This time it is entirely about positivity.
Think all these things, what's going on, stuff that's happened to me, mistakes I've made. So don't imitate anybody else. And then number 3, don't compare yourself to anybody else. You gotta start and do your thing.
Don't compare yourself to anybody else. His entire podcast is talking about how great Joe Rogan is doing. Or how great Brendan Schaub and David Lucas are doing. Like, that's his entire show is comparing himself to other people.
Do you know?
Boy, do I wish I was as successful as you.
Do you know how sick it would be if I was Joe Rogan's friend? That's his podcast.
Yeah, that's the brand that he's come up with. Is please, for the love of God, introduce me to Joe Rogan or Dave Portnoy.
Please, I need them. But here's rule number 4.
Okay, good. Maybe this is where it starts to get a little more detailed. That's fair. He's covering the basics for, the layman.
See what else we got here in our notes. Focus on your community. So they were big on focusing with your community. What's your community? When I started, I was in the baseball world, so it was a lot of baseball stuff. But then I moved more into the parenting section. So I became more...
Hold on, Coach. I have a question. It seems like you're incredibly scatterbrained about your community. If I may, it seems like you're kind of all over the place. Is that sort of the opposite of focusing on your community? Because it seems like you think you're a baseball expert one day, and then you think you're a parenting expert one day, and then you're a positivity expert the next day.
No, he's leader of the Joe Rogan toe suckers.
Go back. So he's saying focus on your community, which is, again, meaningless. It doesn't mean anything.
You go pick up the litter outside.
But the key word to me there is focus, which there's something to be said for that. Have an idea and follow through. Perhaps have a format. Okay, well, how has Coach P mastered that? Coach HP.
Steve Horn says, number 4, tell all your guests they have a beautiful head of hair.
You have just lustrous hair, thick and lustrous.
So handsome.
Focus on your community. So they were big on focusing with your community. What's your community? When I started, I was in the baseball world, so it was a lot of baseball stuff. But then I moved more into the parenting section, so I became more parenting. And then it became working with athletes outside of baseball, golf.
He's Joe Matarese.
With comedians.
He is Joe Matarese, yeah. Jose Matarese.
Hold on. So I started by specializing in something I actually know, baseball. I played baseball for many years. I coach baseball. Then I went into parenting for some reason. There aren't enough parenting podcasts.
Nope.
But then I got into sports I know nothing about. That's the real key. Try to drift away from any expertise you have, you know?
Yep.
And maybe focus on something you're not interested in. Like, for example, I do a history of comedy podcast because I'm really interested in comedy. But wouldn't it be more interesting if I did like a Civil War podcast?
I'm actually in. Let's do it.
Something I just know nothing about.
We should release one. We should listen to these tips, and we should release a show where we listen to these tips exclusively and very literally.
So the interesting thing about Robert E. Lee, here's the interesting thing. He's influenced by a lot of guys that came before him.
Statutarian season. Let's get into it.
And then working with entrepreneurs. So find your community of people that support you. It could be 10, could be 100. Hopefully it's
it could be. It could definitely be 10, Coach HP.
Could be 30.
That's probably a fair number to settle on. No, it could. The video is titled "How to Have a Successful Podcast in 2024." Am I wrong about that?
That's right.
You could settle for 10 people watching?
You know what's the best part about that, by the way? Did you notice the thumbnail?
No.
So it says how to have a successful podcast in 2024 and then a gigantic Barstool Sports logo.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
He doesn't mention them once.
No.
That's crazy.
I thought someone else from Barstool was on and he was going to interview them, like if he had like little sass on to talk about Son of a
Right.
Boy or some shit like that.
How to do a successful podcast. Like, hey, but that's actually, can I tell you something though? We can mock that all we want. That's something that should be on this list. Is, hey, fucking just get people to have a thumbnail that stands out to people.
Visual promotion.
Yeah. Title the podcast and have a thumbnail that stands out, grabs the eye, jumps out to people. Might get people that otherwise wouldn't watch your channel to click on it. That's actually advice. The one thing he did,
Yep.
the one actual amount of work he did is not on this list.
Yeah, it's
crazy.
How to successful podcast in 2024. Barstool Sports logo, Spotify, and iHeart. No Apple.
Yeah. That's well, here's the thing. Is Spotify, even if you have 10 viewers, they're like, hey, this guy's pretty positive. Let's get the checkbook out.
It's true. It's true.
1 million. But start small with your community. Engage with your community. Your community is going to give you the true feedback. I love this from YouTube. From Instagram, at least in my content, I don't get a lot of people asking me stuff. They usually DM it, which is more in private.
Hold on. So he's saying, if you don't understand what he means there, he's saying he doesn't get a ton of feedback on Instagram. The hub of feedback is YouTube.
Oh, God.
At most, me and Craig didn't comment on this video. So at most, 34 people could have commented on this.
Let's see how many comments that he's got here.
How do I?
Or likes, even.
He's got 2 comments.
Okay.
One of them is him replying to somebody.
Oh, all right. Well, so 1.
If you had to guess how many, it is at 37 views now. By the way, I did count.
Okay, good.
Do you know how many likes? If you were to guess,
36.
2.
Okay. What is his Instagram? Is his Instagram a literal tumbleweed? A GIF? What the fuck is his Instagram?
Oh man, he must have like a significant amount of followers on Instagram, right?
His Instagram is like just negative space. He just doesn't get any feedback there.
Let's see. I'm gonna look him up. See what he's.
I'm worried. Before you do that, I'm worried you're gonna disappear. if you bring this Instagram up,
I'm gonna get sucked into the void. Oh no.
Where'd he go?
Let's see.
Instagram, I do not get much feedback, unlike YouTube, where I have built up to 2 comments if I reply.
Fuck.
He's got a lot of Instagram followers, doesn't he?
201,000.
Yeah, so what the fuck is he talking about?
Yeah, no, the most of his feedback is for sure going to be on this.
I would hope so.
Oh my god, he has 3 comments on the last fucking video you dropped.
Oh, maybe he's right.
None on the one before that.
Oh,
Did he buy? He might have bought.
I don't know. It has gone up since. I think when I found him, it was like 150 or something.
He could have bought them though.
Maybe. Is there no engagement on any of them? How many views?
Like 1,500.
Yeah. It doesn't feel like 200,000.
No, it doesn't. Not even close.
I wonder if he bought followers. But hey, you know what? I don't think you should do that. I think that's a complete waste of money. But it's something. Put that on the list. Buy followers.
Buy views.
Yeah. That's something other than turn your fucking computer on.
All right, let's see. Let's have him finish rule 4 here.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
But in YouTube, I guess because YouTube, you could have screen names and nobody knows who you are. It is huge. The people reach out, they ask questions. It's awesome. So you gotta engage with your community.
He had one person ask a question on this video.
Wow, dude, I'm killing it today. All right.
What's rule number 5?
Let's see what rule 5 is here.
There's only 2 rules left. You're telling me?
Yeah, but I think the last video is like 3.5 minutes long.
Oh, thank God, because that must be where we get something out of this.
It has to be. He gets real in depth in that rule.
Yeah.
This video, by the way, is only 13 minutes long.
Oh, the whole video?
Yeah, so it's digestible.
Yeah, it's a Wallow interview. We call that.
Yeah, he gives the Wallow treatment.
Yeah. How a man's entire life and how to do a podcast are the same length of time in Coach HP's world.
Potential moderator Andrea. Blind Mike will be back tonight with his new show, Gearbox, at 9 p.m.
What? Now that you're just lying. I'm not on the show. Andrea with a disastrous first episode. She's clearly a plant.
She might have to be a moderator. We might have to make
Blind Mike returning.
Maybe Hackride identified as you because I identified as him. Maybe it was a chain reaction.
Oh, honestly, that's actually funny. It might be that, actually.
It could be.
That's very funny.
All right, let's get to rule 5.
Okay, please. Well, yeah, obviously, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing because I'm promoting podcasts 9 hours from now. So please, Coach, tell me, give me something.
Relatable to you. So, perfect example, the top podcast stuff that they talked about is true crimes. So true crimes. I'm not a big fan of true crime, so I would not start a true crime. I'm a fan of positivity. I will not start a true crime podcast. But what I do think about is
why? You got a problem with that?
Start with Miami, like historic crimes that have happened in Miami and talk about them, review them and stuff like that.
Hold on. What is he saying?
He goes, I wouldn't start a true crime podcast, but I live in Miami, so I would start a true crime podcast about Miami.
Okay, I thought I misheard. I thought I must be the idiot here. So he's saying he was on the precipice of good advice.
Mm-hmm.
If he was saying, hey, true crime podcasts are popular, but don't just do one to do one. It has to actually be something you're interested in.
Mm-hmm.
Which that's very good advice. Because a lot of people probably do think like, oh, I'll just get into the true crime section because that's very hot right now or whatever.
Yeah.
Coach HP is saying, don't do that. That's very silly. Unless, like, you live in Miami or something. Then you can do a Miami true crime podcast.
True crime podcasts are great. Everyone should start one.
Yeah. Yeah, people that don't know that don't care, have any passion about true crime or any knowledge. As long as you live in Miami, I guess.
Give it a sexual name too. That's the other advice I would give.
Oh yes, I didn't even think of that. Yeah,
no one did.
An idea, but relatable was a big thing. Other things that people talked about was content themes. So themes of content, right? Your three things. You're either educational. Educational, like with me, was the video of how to break in a baseball glove. That was
that is his free bird.
I want to see how many views that video's got. It's probably got like 1 million.
Yeah, look that up actually. It
Fuck
better.
It could have like 4 grand.
He mentions it all. We heard him mention it to Scott.
Freaking-
He mentions this how to break in a baseball mitt video all the time. By the way, I think Craig's gonna like one of the other suggestions he has that we'll get to. But first, I want to see how many views this baseball mitt video has.
If you had to guess. If you had to take a guess. There's 2. He did 2 of them.
Well, let's go with the highest one.
Okay.
The highest view count.
Yep.
Based on your reaction, it's definitely lower than 1 million. 50,000.
277,000.
Okay. All right. That's not bad. That's pretty good.
Yeah, no, but he talks about it.
If we had a video do that, that'd be pretty crazy.
That would be pretty crazy. But he talks
Yeah.
about it like it's, you guys, I know.
Oh, sure. Like it's Mr. Beast counting to 1 million or something. But
Correct.
yeah, no, I understand. That's crazy. But thank God, when you asked me that, I was like, oh God, is it like 5,000?
No. No.
So thank God. All right.
educational is how to hit a baseball, how to talk to a 14-year-old.
Now, Craig, hey,
aspirational.
we can mock this guy, but I think there's something to be learned there.
Why would
You know?
you do a video called "How to Talk to a 14"?
I think that you know better than anyone why. You know,
Oh.
you don't just reach in and grab. You got to romance him a little. You know.
Is that a real video?
Yes,
Is it
I've
real?
seen it. I was hoping for more, but it's like from a coaching standpoint.
Oh, that is a tough title.
So I get what he's saying, but yeah, how to talk to a 14-year-old you would think would be like a Gillian Keefe sketch or something.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's fucking hilarious.
You're either educational. Educational, like with me, was the video of how to break in a baseball glove. That was huge for me. Educational is how to hit a baseball, how to talk to a 14-year-old.
Craig says, "Hey, buddy, stay in your lane."
Aspirational which is where a lot of the scams come in, where people showcase their lives and people want to be you. They see somebody like, oh, I like that guy. I like his house. I like his car. I like his chick. I like what he has going on. Aspirational is another.
Hold on a second.
Stuttering
Hold
Coach
on.
HP. I like his chick.
Wait, what did he just say?
A whole lot.
What was the? So is he saying that's good that you should do a podcast? I can't imagine why he would be saying this. Is he suggesting you should do a podcast where you just go, hey, look at this guy. I like his hair. I like his face. I like his bank account. I like his house. And I like the lady he stuffs.
It sounds like
That's a podcast?
it sounds like it.
Is he saying that would be bad or good? Because it is the podcast that he does. So at least he's aware. But
Stuttering Coach HP, man.
yeah.
his house. I like his car. I like his chick.
Sorry, go back a little further because I want to hear what the fuck, how he got into this.
Aspirational which is where a lot of the scams come in, where people showcase their lives.
Oh, he's calling it a scam. Hold on a second.
Okay.
Go back even further.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so he might be talking about like our guy, John Cirasani. Carl doesn't know this, but it's someone we talk about on WATS from time to time.
Content, right? Your three things.
Hack rights
You're
here, by
either
the way.
educational. Educational, like with me, was the video of how to break in a baseball glove. That was huge for me. Educational is how to hit a baseball, how to talk to a 14-year-old, educational stuff like that.
Educational
Aspirational
stuff like
which is where a lot of the
That's how
scams-
Carl's always spun it to me.
educational stuff we don't like talking
It's
about.
educational purposes. I go out and Craig always says to me, he's like, hey, we should be doing more stuff on TikTok. And I say, it's not really my lane. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to go out to talk to 14-year-olds and see what they think. I'm like, that's not really necessary. He's like, you don't even have to ask me.
You don't even know how.
Yeah.
It gets offensive.
Taste their lives and people want to be you. They see somebody like, oh, I like that guy. I like his house. I like his car. I like his chick. I like what he has going on. Aspirational is another avenue. And third is entertaining. Entertaining is
I don't get it. He calls it a scam. So it's like if I said, hey, start a business. This video is called "How to Start a Business."
Yeah.
And one thing you could do is just like email a bunch of people and say that you're a Nigerian prince, and that if they send you a certain amount of money, that you're going to send them back more money. Like that. That, for example, is the type of business that you could start.
Right.
It feels like that's what he's saying because he's calling it a scam, but then saying do it.
Ooh. Andrea, real quick, I know, potential moderator, said hit that like with the thumb emoji. So we're moving in the right direction.
All right. That I like, Andrea. Now we're cooking.
Yeah, we're cooking.
And no, she probably means like later tonight on Hack Ride Show.
Yeah, on Hack Ride's channel, when you're watching the recap of this and you already checked out,
Hey,
hit the
yeah.
like on that.
Hey, you guys probably aren't even paying attention to the show anymore, but if you are, later tonight, hit the like button.
Sing, you can dance, you can do so many things. So out of those three things, you got to find out which are you. Are you educational?
Yeah. You know how successful those dancing podcasts are.
There's no niche
I
audience.
love listening to this podcast with these ballet dancers.
You know, if you want big time success, find the super niche audience.
You're kind of doing Stuttering John as this guy.
I know.
Just so you know.
I know. It kind of is.
Entertaining. You could intertwine them, obviously, and obviously if you could do all three, it'd be great, but those features are important.
Thanks.
Very important. Well, now it's all been culminating to this, right?
Yeah.
This is the last rule.
Oh God. Sorry, dude. Troy Smith, $2. He's clearly not paying attention. He just says, "What time is Gearbox on tonight?"
Troy. We'll tell you at the end. We have a guy. Troy, don't worry. A guy is muscling his way onto the program to talk about it later.
Him and Electrify backstage.
You think we wouldn't do a whole segment about when Gearbox is on? What are you, nuts?
Oh, we're gonna dish.
We'll get into it. But first, we have to finish up this boring stuff with Coach HP.
Yeah.
All right. So we've been building to the last rule, right?
This is the last rule.
This is where he admits he's like, guys, I was trying to get the riffraff out of here. The people that wouldn't stick around, that weren't dedicated.
Sorry.
What?
Andrea, in all seriousness, added Troy and said 9 p.m.
God damn it. Well, she's earned herself a position, I think.
This is such a hack ride plan. It's not even funny.
9 p.m. Yeah, no, I could tell. It's good because I could tell by the way Troy sent that chat in. He definitely didn't know when the show was.
Yeah. We might need Andrea every week.
Yeah, all right. Andrea's doing a good job. She's winning me over.
I'm in.
9 p.m. Oh, I'm glad you asked.
Yes, Eastern Standard Time, Nimrod. Yes.
All right. Now, for the finally, Coach HP is going to unload all over our faces how to have a successful podcast.
Partnerships, they talked a lot about partnerships, partnering up with each other. Now, this is a little tricky. So everybody that was there today.
This is a little, can I give you a little spoiler?
Mm-hmm.
By this is a little tricky, he means it's something I have failed at time and again. It's this. Now, this one I'm going to give you advice on. It is something that I have continuously, like Charlie Brown, whiffed on. They keep setting me up at different podcast studios. I keep missing. Sorry, go ahead.
Podcast network or something like that. Everybody was asking him, how do I get on your podcast? How can I get on your network? How can I get on your network? How can I be a part of your network? If you don't have views, nothing's going to happen.
Okay, we have 2 from today we have to put in the outro.
Yeah.
That's a good one. If you don't have views, nothing is going to happen. Now, keep in mind, rule number 4 or whatever it was it doesn't matter how many people are watching. You could have 10 viewers.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Start small.
That was a couple views ago. Now, rule number 6 is if you don't have views, none of it matters.
Jump off nearest building.
Your life is irrelevant. He just starts getting real. You are a failed baseball player that thought he could podcast.
You're just gonna be in your living room jerking off to your neighbor's wife.
If you don't have views, you are someone that tried to leech onto Brendan Schaub for no reason at the start of his downfall.
With companies, they look at your analytics. Can they help you grow? Can you make them money? That's it. There's no nice guys here. It's not like, oh, we like you. No. This literally, you have to have a niche that they want.
So hold on. I think I'm getting this actually.
Mm-hmm.
In order to have a successful podcast, and this is specific to the year 2024.
Yep.
I don't think it's been like this in previous years, now that I'm thinking about it. To have a successful podcast in 2024, it's a podcast that should generate income in some way.
Right.
Boy, that's really interesting, Coach. I'm glad you took 5 other rules to get here. So we start by starting the podcast.
Right.
And we end, the final rule is have it be successful. Hey, thanks, guys. That's been how to have a successful podcast.
Thank
Start
you.
it and make it good.
2, they have to like what you do. That you have to see you have some kind of movement, and then you could be considered for this. I've had people
For example, 4 years in, you should not be getting 35 views on a video. Particularly when you're explaining how to be successful in that field.
He's the Schaub of YouTube video views. Starts off with a great baseball glove, and now he's here.
250,000. How to break in a baseball mitt.
And
4 years later.
His last video, he said he's going to retire from Instagram.
I am no longer a part of the travel I had to do for Instagram was just too exhausting.
We'll get you and we'll do a 70-30 split, 60-40 split, but you want to feel comfortable, and till then, it's almost like better be on your own, because you don't want people then to have a pressure of, okay, well, how many views you like? I had a company tell me, till you get consistently 20,000 views an episode, that's what we're looking for.
That's weird. So you're telling me, it seems like these companies, these corporate fat cats, are just looking for successful podcasts to pay.
Yeah, it's like they want to sell ad revenue and stuff.
That's what they should. That's very odd. I thought if I just started a podcast that was unsuccessful, I would be making Bill Simmons money at least.
I don't know why we aren't.
That's very disappointing. I thought if I just fucking did this every week, eventually someone would pay me millions of dollars. By the way, does him having the Barstool logo in this video kind of implicate them in this?
That he's trying to get views or implicate Barstool?
No, like he says, I reach out to all these platforms and they tell me, like, you need 20,000 views. One of the places he lists is Barstool Sports. Does he think he should be on Barstool?
I think so. I think he went in there, saw the vibes, and was like, I could really fit in here.
Oh, would that be great?
Oh, I need it. You
know what this guy, what he would be great at is like just when the unnamed show gets too hot, he just comes in and spreads positivity.
He comes in to calm everyone down.
Yeah. He just compliments everyone.
No, he doesn't look like deformed Mincy. That's
a very
Coleman.
Handsome young boy.
He just looks like Coleman.
Was by the hold on.
Oh, good. You compared him to Stuttering John earlier. You're about to eat your words, pal.
He didn't even edit it out.
Keep in mind, this is called How to Have a Successful Podcast.
This better be a really famous person coming in. Oh, it's my friend Wallow again.
Folks, look at this. Alex Cooper is stopping by.
Consistently 20,000 views an episode, that's what we're looking for. And my answer was
I hope that's not Dan Carlin from Hardcore History coming in to say hello.
He walks funny.
Hey.
Hello, my friend.
How's everything?
Fantastic. Thank you. It's time.
There it is.
Champions again.
Yes, sir.
Like on Monday.
Yep.
What the
What do you
fuck?
think?
I think we have a big shot, man. This will be good.
I think I'm a student of Coach HP, as you know.
Yeah.
As long as this bull.
I think they're talking Dolphins football.
There you go, my friend. Thank you so much. Have a good night. Okay.
Was this room service? And the guy just starts talking Dolphins?
I forgot he was in a
We
hotel.
had to get the food. So I've had podcasts.
Yeah, it was. Hold on, pause. It was room service.
You know, I'm going to call this in and I'm going to record.
Why would you, if you're doing how to do a podcast of all videos, why would you order food and then start recording?
That's what I mean. Or leave it in.
Yeah, right. You just cut it out, Coach. This is very weird.
The splits, and they're like, listen, if you don't get 20,000, we're not gonna.
Didn't
It's
skip
not
a
even
beat.
worth it. And I'm like, look, by the time I get 20,000 views an episode, I'm not coming to you guys.
I will be long dead.
I'm going to go.
By the time I get 20,000 downloads an episode, this won't be a podcast anymore. It will be a study in psychology when I go on a mass shooting spree.
So, or I'm gonna go somewhere else. So just wait, get your rhythm. It's always better to have a gig where you're getting paid already, and you don't put pressure
No shit, you
on
fucking
this.
idiot.
I didn't live off my Rawlings deal, my New Balance deal, or anything else that I've gotten because I had income.
End of list.
No, I was getting all these big deals from Rawlings and all that stuff. And I said, you know, I'm going to pivot.
Yeah, it's time to do a podcast that gets 35 views because I know how to do a successful podcast.
So it was never really pressure.
The arrogance of anyone, like that isn't known for podcasting to do this. You know what I mean? Like people with clearly successful podcasts could technically make a video, and even then it still might be douchey. But
Right.
like they obviously know what they're doing, so they can give tips. And I've even heard like Rogan over the years give advice just naturally on his show. Makes sense. The idea of Coach HP, like this, you could say this channel's not a success, and that's why I don't tell you how to do it. Do whatever you want. Do whatever the fuck you want. What do I care?
We actually spent a good chunk of this section saying, you know what, don't even hit record.
Yeah.
From my personal experience, going to podcasts, doing them live has been amazing. Also, what's been good is personal relationship. People aren't talking about personal relationships. You gotta have good personal relationship, guys, because that's what's gonna help you get in the door, especially if you don't know anybody. And the best way to make personal relationships is to give. Find what you can give, whether it's your time, your service. Some people give money. Some people barter for equal exchange, but you gotta give.
Okay, so I think he's saying like, hey, if you want more advice, maybe throw me a little quiche,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Ah, interesting. So what is he doing like when he meets Brendan Schaub and these people? I wonder what he's getting out of that. I know what he thinks he's getting.
Views.
Yeah.
Well, that ain't happening.